over there. But then who goes, God dang it. I'm having the worst trouble. You see, the NFL International Player Pathway Program is really getting off its feet. And we're trying to get all these international players over to the Americas to play football. But it's just not working. I mean, not enough Swedish people or Germans or the rest of the world people want to play American football because they see how dangerous it is. And yet they play rugby and somehow that's safer. I don't understand how the math works. Speaking of math, I'm bad at getting people over to the Americas. We got to get them, let's say, well, hey, we'll give them free citizenship. Free guns, right? Yeah. And if they're white, then they can't be arrested for anything. Even if they involve guns, sometimes. Okay, well, there we go. I figured out the player pathway program, and everything's going to be A-okay. We'll still have guns.
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the smattering of NFL news that you didn't know about. All right, let's get down to business. We got a whole lot of stuff to talk about. I'm wearing a brand new shirt, and we got a new batch of episodes to shoot. Let's do this. The International Player Pathway Program is exactly what it sounds like. It's not American and Canadian football players or people who want to play football, American football, coming over to America and playing. It only lasted for a couple of years, and quite frankly, it's instituted now. And in 2017, it was really when it was getting going, and there were so many eligibility things that you had to pass that it kind of really wasn't worth it in the end. You had to be 24 or younger, out of high school. You never played American football ever, not even in college. You had to speak English. You were not a citizen of U.S. or Canada, and you had to be able to travel to the U.S. for 2 months for the first week in March, so you could try out and do all this stuff. It worked. They brought in a bunch of people from France, Germany, UK, and in fact, as it looks like, a bunch of people were able to come over to America even now, like between 2017 and this current season, 2022. There's been a crap ton of guys that came over and played from all over, including not even just those European companies. Yeah, I see countries as companies. Not even those countries, but also other countries from Australia to South America, to South America, and even Africa. So it's a continent. I know Africa's a continent. We've got a lot of people coming over, and it's a developing program, and it kicked off in 2017, but it's still kind of fledgling, and growing in and of itself. And speaking of things that are growing, we've got NFL mega deals that have become this huge playing field for announcers who spent a lot of their time at one network, and they were not forced, but made the decision to move on to other networks, including Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, who were brought over to ESPN from Fox Sports, while Al Michaels left NBC and went over to Amazon. And their contracts were upwards of tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, in fact, Tony Romo is an analyst for CBS, and his contract is 10 years and $180 million. And the NFL has rights packages of 11 years, $110 billion with CBS, NBC, ESPN, Fox, and Amazon. It's these giant packs are creating just a boon for white guys want to talk about football. And in fact, even like the alternate casts, like the Manning cast on ESPN2, they've signed the deal with Eli Manning and Peyton Manning through 2024. There's no telling how much that was worth, but it's definitely something lucrative that has worked for ESPN in the long run. Where that now Stephen A. Smith and did it for basketball for 5 games, I believe, and UFC is going to have some of it. And also, there's more deals along the way in terms of the first virtual reality game. The NFL is getting its first VR game. It's done the Madden thing for a long time, and they're still doing that for as long as that'll work. But there's a company working on called Status Pro, working on a VR game. We have no details on it yet, but it's gonna be something. And then there's also blockchain sponsors, which if you've been looking at the FTX, is that what it is, in the past couple of weeks, then that's not a good idea. A lot of these sponsors, especially during the Super Bowl, were, people remember those commercials, and now it's just like a bad thing to have. And but these companies like Crypto.com, they've got a 20-year deal with the LA Staples Center, and that's $700 million. And yes, crypto, is at some type of future for money, but it's definitely not working. And the Cowboys announced a deal with blockchain.com, and they were the first cryptocurrency deal in NFL. Jerry Jones, that ghoul of a man, loves his money, and this shouldn't affect football in any way, but what's been happening in the last couple of weeks has not been good for in terms of digital currency. Similarly, like I said, Al Michaels moved over, and then Mike Tirico joined NBC to replace Al Michaels. Al Michaels moved over to Amazon, and Apple is really trying to get in on the. You know what? I'm gonna end that there. Okay. All right. Moving into this is the conclusion, and that's pretty much it. That's going on with the NFL in terms of this, all the news coming along. They've got the Sunday ticket trying to be sold, and that's still ongoing. Apple was the leading player in that, but now everybody's is still up for grabs, and everybody's trying to get in on it next season. Listen, speaking of things to get in on, subscribe, check out one of our other videos. Of course, you can head to the website, cpostcomedy.com, where you can see me getting it in. Not really getting it in, but getting it on, talking to famous people. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at cpostcomedy and at Chat Black White. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And I think I gotta go learn how to speak English again. And then maybe I can get into the International Players Platform program for NFL.